I'm Libby Wayman. We're here at the Dome in Davos, and I'm with Ori Shaashua, founder and CEO of GigaBlue.
Nice to meet you, Libby.
Ori, tell us about GigaBlue.
So GigaBlue basically developed MCFS, a methodology to harness the power of photosynthesis, the largest energy process on the planet, in order to remove gigatons of CO₂ over the course of the upcoming decades.
Great, and tell us a little bit more about the technology and the approach.
So it stems back to the way nature does it. So after many years where us humans have been trying to capture CO₂, with over-engineering solutions that are very physical, engines, pumps, dependency on energy, limited by terrestrial facilities, GigaBlue took a different approach. The way nature does it is through phytoplankton, a microalgae that exists everywhere in the ocean and is fed with minerals arriving to the ocean with dust storms. We're basically generating and biomimicking nature, creating an engineered, measurable, controlled dust storm that unleashes the natural potential of the ocean to sequester CO₂.
And so the algae kind of fixes carbon through a photosynthetic process. Or hold on, we'll start that over. So the algae fixes the carbon through a photosynthetic process fed by these nutrients, and then how is it ultimately sequestered?
So everything occurs within a particle, and that we have produced and developed with years of science and validation. The particle basically has the capability to control floating and sinking and hold phytoplankton and grow additional phytoplankton within the particle. So we are only using the ocean as real estate, but we're not dispersing any material to the ocean. We're not changing the ocean water chemistry and biology in any meaningful way. And since all of the growth occurs within the particle, we then have the ability to control and sink it all the way down to the deep ocean, where it joins the slow carbon cycle, just like nature, the one that nature creates, and leads to sequestration of hundreds to thousands of years.
And how can you ensure that the carbon will stay sequestered rather than come back up as emissions as methane, for example, if it is in an anoxic-zone and ends up resulting in methanogenesis? How are you ensuring that that carbon stays sequestered?
So those are exactly the things that we wanted to avoid when we developed MCFS. There have been past attempts like biomass sinking and other attempts that led to those phenomena, primarily because anoxic conditions occur when you deploy a massive amount of any matter on the ocean surface. The particles spread across a massive area, and even at the scale of a gigaton, are not reaching even 1% of the sediment capacity to sequester CO₂. So the fact, I think that it stems out of the choice to biomimic nature rather than to create or invent the wheel. And what happens to CO₂ when it gets there, it basically joins the natural carbon cycle. So 95% of the fossil fuels that we are using today used to be phytoplankton hundreds and thousands of years ago. And bringing carbon back to the sediment, back to where it came from, essentially, when we drill it out and put it in the atmosphere, is the right natural approach to solve the global warming problem and also impact ocean health.
And what are you hearing from Davos that you're taking away from this week?
A lot of excitement. I think that humanity has been trying to unleash the potential of photosynthesis in order to impact ocean health and climate health for a few decades now, and it hasn't worked so far. The team had worked alongside third-party scientific institutes, academy, Pure Earth, the world's leading verifier for CDR, to give birth to something that is going to make a generational impact. And Davos clearly understands that. We're getting tons of traction and a lot of excitement because, in a pragmatic way, in order for CDR to really make an impact and reverse what us humans have done, it needs to be very scalable and very affordable. And MCFS does just that.
And you're a part of a select group of CEOs with Climate Scale Up. What have you learned through this group?
So I think that I've learned that the amount of people dealing with these problems isn't that big. In the end of the day, the market is in its early days, in its infancy almost. And we are all kind of scorching through. And anything from financing solutions, policy making, regulatory. Davos is a necessary environment for all of us to really scale this up. And there is urgency that needs to be achieved.
Or it's been great to speak with you, Ori Shaashua, GigaBlue.